Welcome to the Pulse with Peter B. I'm your host, Peter Biancamano. Let's get you to the pulse on everything you need to know. And today's show is brought to you by The Dream Project. You can find out more information from our friends at The Dream Project at the link at the bottom of your screen. And that's way too many ads there, Daria. And joining us is the fabulous Daria DeLucia of At Hoboken Eats. I like that. She got the spirit fingers. There you go. Did I watch Bring It On or what? I'm ashamed to admit that, I
Why?
guess.
It's a classic.
It is a classic.
It's American history.
Exactly. Nothing better than spirit fingers. Anyway, Daria, how are you today?
I'm great. That was a great way to start this off.
You just
I'm
want to talk
feeling
about
jazzed.
films?
I don't know about you.
We could just talk about the film industry right now instead of talking about food here.
Do we have one of those on here?
No, we'll get on it though. We'll call her Printer Chris, who's a great guy. So Daria, today we're venturing outside of Hoboken. Can you believe it?
It's rare occasion, guys.
Exactly. She might be expanding to at Jersey City Eats or
No,
something.
I think that exists. We can't take anyone's handle.
Oh, my apologies to the person that's running that. I'm sure that person copied off Hoboken Eats, but that's a different story for a different time. No comment.
Naughty.
No comment. Anyway. And we're going to be talking about Kitchen Step.
Kitchen Step.
Which is located at 500 Jersey Avenue in, as I mentioned, Jersey City. I know nothing, zero, about this place.
What I'm here for.
That's what our wonderful food insider is here for. So talk to me. Is it a type of brunch, breakfast, lunch, dinner type of place?
Brunch and dinner.
Gotcha.
Full bar.
Nice.
It's interesting because obviously Hoboken Eats, I am down to try any restaurant anywhere in the entire world. But I do typically tend to stay in the little bubble of Hoboken, not really venturing out to Jersey City too much. Matt's mom came in for brunch for her birthday pre-COVID. And so we were trying to take her somewhere special, somewhere new, trying to make a little nice experience for her. So we're like, let's try the Kitchen Step in Jersey City. We've never been there. She's obviously never been there. And oh my God, it was so good.
Is it relatively new? Sorry to interrupt you.
Honestly, it could be. I don't know. It was new to me when I went. And it's so.
And not far from Hoboken.
Not far at all. It's
right.
So dang cute inside. The decor, again, I talk about all the time, ambiance is super, super key. But it was just bright and airy, and they had like fun decor everywhere, and it was just really, really cute. And fun fact, they have all these really cool cocktails on the menu. Matt's mom's name is Mildred. Fun little family name drop there. They had a cocktail.
By the way, Matt's mom has never gotten this much press on the show.
I know, it's a big day for her. And they had a Mildred cocktail on the menu.
So she had it on
She had it, and it was delicious. It was delicious.
Question for you. You're originally from Wayne, correct?
Yeah.
So where does the dang come from?
The dang comes from this being on TV, and if I use the vocabulary that I usually do, Greg is going to slice and dice.
Anyway, back to the business at hand here. Okay, so wonderful cocktails,
Wonderful
Mildred.
cocktail.
Hope you enjoyed the cocktail named after you. Let's talk about the food.
The brunch menu.
The brunch menu.
They have these mussels that are on
Huge
top
fan.
of French fries.
That was a mic drop. What?
Banging.
In like white sauce? Or?
Yep.
No way.
Banging. You know how you always take your bread and you dip it in the mussel
You
sauce?
could just do the fries.
You just eat the fries.
That is so
It
phenomenal.
was so good. None of us were in the mood for mussels. It was literally first thing in the morning for brunch, and we saw that on the menu, and we were like, okay, well, that settles that.
There's no bad time for mussels.
There's
in my opinion.
never, I know, I learned. Learned that day.
That's on the brunch menu, though.
Yeah.
And those two items are not really
And they have it for
brunch.
dinner, too.
Okay, cool.
They have it for dinner, too. It's funny, when I checked the menu again, I didn't see it on the brunch menu, but we got it for brunch. It's possible, whether it's on the menu or
They
not.
knew Daria was in the house. Anything else that's stuck out
Yes,
at you?
they have a brunch burger, which is fantastic. They have a grilled cheese that has prosciutto and truffled cheddar. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of any type of grilled cheese. It's next level good.
I mean, and when prosciutto's cooked, I mean, it's
The
almost
little
like
crisp.
Oh, it's so
the
good.
little crisp.
I almost
Imagine
compared
that.
it to bacon, but you can't compare it to bacon.
Well, you know.
I think it's better.
10 times.
Right,
10
right,
times. I
right.
will fight that till the end of me, but it's the same concept. And imagine it in between crispy bread and crispy cheese.
Oh my God.
I know.
I am so hungry right now.
I know. They also have Eggs Benedict.
Okay.
So your
A staple?
classics, yep.
Right.
They have your classics. They have a few different like toast options, like a stracciatella toast, an avocado toast. Yeah. So they have like fun stuff like that. It's really kind of an array of you can go and get anything you want. Eggs anyway, so they have something more traditional for someone who's not willing to kind of venture out into maybe, let's say, the mussels and fries for breakfast.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, so now did you go back for dinner or you just had the brunch there?
Haven't been. We were actually supposed to go, but we did not make it there. But they have quite a nice menu for dinner as well. You can start off with anything from broiled oysters, kale salad. They have fish tacos on the menu. So that kind of realm. So a nice little seafood mix.
I was going to say, it kind of is very seafoody
Yeah.
because from the name Kitchen Step, we have no clue what they're serving.
We don't know. But I wouldn't like tout them as a seafood restaurant, but just talking out loud about it, they definitely have a lot of seafood options. For dinner, they have like a salmon option. They have ricotta gnocchis.
Oh.
Yeah. So you can even see there, like having fish tacos for an appetizer, then going to ricotta gnocchis for dinner. Sometimes that's not something you typically see,
Right.
but having experienced the brunch, I can tell it's something that like they would crush. They would kill it. It'd be amazing.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, because they're versatile, it seems like.
So we didn't talk about the ambiance. So it's or did we talk about the ambiance? You did say it has a little bit of a bar, correct?
Cute. Yes, it has a little bar, yeah. Not super big, but I think there was definitely people in there eating brunch at the bar when we were in there. We sat at the high tops behind the bar, and then down a little bit further, they have like some of the low booth seating, which is nice.
Okay.
Yeah, it seemed like a nice little small quaint restaurant from what
I was
we
going
could
to say,
see. Yeah.
it seems just by what you're describing, it's like you said, quaint. Which
Yeah.
In Jersey City, you have a lot of that. I feel
Yeah.
like. I feel like Hoboken, the quaint restaurants just don't exist. It's either the regular size or kind of like the jumbo size, like Union Hall. Or
Yeah,
Eames,
it's a
right or
very
wrong?
good point. And I'm thinking about this. It's almost like in Jersey City, they've made those jumbo areas outdoor. You think of like,
Ashford or something like that. No.
yeah. Well, that's a big spot. I'm thinking of there's a couple like beer gardens that are outdoors.
Oh, Zeppelin Hall.
Yeah,
Yes,
and the
yes.
one on the water as well. So they take those
Yeah.
big
Can't remember the
spaces, and
Exactly. No, that's great. I mean, so now since it is a small quaint type of restaurant, do they accept reservations?
we made a
or-
reservation for brunch. So I would definitely and for dinner they do as well. So I would recommend that because it does seem like a really cute place that you would go with your girlfriends on a date. The dinner that we were supposed to go to was a double date, so it's a nice place to be able to take anyone. And we took Matt's mom, so another great option is taking family there when they come in to visit. But again, feels like a nice little neighborhood spot that I want to go back to.
Oh, you gotta love that. Any desserts on the menu that you know of?
They do. They have a couple different options. We didn't actually get any of the dessert, unfortunately, which I want to just go back and have mussels and fries and dessert now. So I think I might have to go back and try
Mussels
some.
and fries.
I
I am
know,
like in love.
not over that
we
one.
usually talk before the segment about things that she's going to talk
I
about.
was waiting for this
She
one.
totally kept that to
I
herself.
wanted to drop a bomb on the episode.
That was a big bomb.
Felt like that was a good one.
A bomb. Nagasaki going on over here, let me tell you. And Hiroshima, too, you know? Well, Daria, we have to get over to the kitchen step, 500 Jersey Avenue. And I like that we're venturing outside of Hoboken.
I know. Look at us.
Right?
Look at us. The pulse goes everywhere.
Exactly. We got to get that budget going, you know? Because I'm sure, we're going big. We might go overseas, too. What do you think?
Sign me up.
Sign her up. Well, Daria DeLucia of At Hoboken Eats, thank you so much again for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
We look forward to a future episode with you.
Cannot wait.
I cannot wait either. All right. That is Kitchen Step, 500 Jersey Avenue in Jersey City. All right, folks, we will be right back.
Growing up, my parents owned a bar and restaurant, creating jobs, opportunity, a sense of community. Their example inspired me to open my own business. I'm Jack Chettarelli. Phil Murphy's lockdowns killed businesses like this. Gone are our favorite pizza places, our salons, the corner bakery. Gone are the jobs they provided and the people who work there. Wall Street guys like Murphy just don't get it. When these businesses close, it hurts all of us. New Jersey, we can do better. When I'm governor, we will.
Welcome back to The Pulse. I'm guest host Pavel Sokolov here with Joshua Einstein Sotomayor to talk about local political happenings here in Hudson County. So, first off, Josh, big ticket item. The city bikes are finally here. What are your thoughts? Great for us or menace to society?
I think like the wheels on the bus, the wheels on the bicycles go round and round, often through stop signs, often through red lights. It's a hazard for pedestrians. whether they're young, whether they're old, whether they're in between. It's a hazard for drivers. And full disclosure, not only do I not bicycle, I also don't have a car. So I have no pony in this race, but I do believe that a city's job, any level of government, their job isn't to make your life easy, right? But their job is also not to make your life extra difficult. And for many people, a bicycle is a want, right? A car, for many people in town, for about anywhere between a third to half of town that works in the suburbs, is a need. And the fact that they're killing parking spots, they're polluting the streetscape, all right, and that there's almost no enforcement when it comes to bicyclists that, just completely blow through red lights, is a shanda and a crime.
But what about the environmental impact or the health impact? Don't you think it's good that, people no longer have to drive downtown or take the bus? They could just bike down. They can, be healthier, not pollute, no more gas, no more congestion. What do you think?
Well, I think the bicyclists are really replacing what would have been a pedestrian stroll. And I think when you're walking on the sidewalk, you're more likely to stop in stores than you are. I think a lot of the bicyclists are using it to get from point A to mass transit. And I think it really begs the question, will Hoboken see the scooters come back? I know even many bicyclists actually hated the scooters. But rewinding back to a second to the bikes, we see bicycle supremacists. Not all you bicyclists are bicycle supremacists out there, but many of them are, like Councilman Phil Cohen, who is constantly and never-endingly pushing for segregated, protected bike lanes on Washington Street that will also destroy the streetscape on the main drag of our beloved town.
Do you think these additional city bikes will actually end up hurting businesses if people aren't stopping by, or if the extra bike lines are preventing people from, pulling over, running into getting something from the store? What do you think?
Well, I don't think it'll have. I think generally the policies that come out of the Ball administration and also the city council hurt businesses in town. On top of that, obviously, you have the strange COVID times that we have. But even in the before times, policies emanating for our city hall weren't helping the businesses. I think this will more or less be neutral. If anything, people that might drive from out of town as things become more normal will be less likely to come to town because there'll be less parking. And they'll also know that Hoboken streets are insane with bicyclists that just zip through red lights and stop signs.
So in your opinion, it's not that we really need an alternative to these city bikes. It's just, in general, it was kind of a waste and got in the way of, parking, pedestrians, and general...
Well, listen, if they could couple rolling out the bike share program with actual enforcement on bicyclists, as well as not kill parking spots, I wouldn't have a problem with it. But I, like many people in town, don't understand why there is a war on parking being waged, a crusade, if you will, by the Ball administration and its retainers in the council, as well as other council members. And I don't think it's fair. It's not right. And, that's that.
I definitely think that sometimes people forget that we're not in Williamsburg, but actually New Jersey, where I myself commuted to Morristown for years. And without a car, taking 2 hours on NJ Transit just does not sound fun.
I hear that.
So what do you think about the new Monarch settlement? Last night there was a city council vote that I believe approved the new proposed plan, correct?
Yes. So there's a lot of consternation around it. The usual actors out there, and I don't mean that in a pejorative, negative way, but the usual people that are against building buildings higher were against this agreement. And there was also the added issue of the home base of the DPW, the Department of Public Works,
right,
which is located at that site. And as per the agreement, will be allowed once the building's built to be there for, I believe, 3 years, and then will once again be homeless. So while
what will they be doing while they're being built, right? If it takes several years to complete this project, where will this department go? It's essential to what we expect for the quality of life of Hoboken residents, isn't it?
Oh yeah, so it's a great question. So there's two issues there. The first one is where will it go, like you're saying,
right,
while it's being built, and the second issue is where will it go in 3 years? We have a city hall and a mayor's office that doesn't plan for more than the equivalent of a week out. It constantly kicks the can down the road. That's what they're doing with this deal vis-a-vis the DPW, and there doesn't seem to be any long-term plan for Department of Public Works. and that's a challenge. I mean, we're a city. We need to have these facilities, in the town in order to address issues as they arise. But our fearless leaders just like to kick the can down the road and not think about the future. I mean, this is really the result of all the litigation that happened. With the Monarch project, they didn't think for the future, and they just were like, our way or the highway. And now, whether you like it or hate it, this is the deal that's happening.
Right, and then ordinary residents will be left holding the bag when they can't reach the DPW because they're in a flux, because they don't have an ascertained location where they're going to be in the near future and 3 years out.
Yeah, it's a big question mark.
What do you think about the recent proposal about making sure that councilmen can't block Twitter users from their private feeds?
Well, it's not just Twitter; it's all social media, and I think it's ridiculous. But even if you do think out there that council people or elected officials shouldn't be able to block people on their social media, it's definitely not one of the more pressing issues. This is campaign silly season, political hijinks by the Ball administration and its political retainers in the city council to try to stick it to Councilman DeFusco because, last election go around he came within a couple hundred votes of beating Bala. So they want to try to stick anything negative to him. But I think I'm not saying vote for anybody, but I think the voters of Hoboken are more mature than that. They're definitely more intelligent overall than people give them credit for, and they see this as what it is. It's a political attack.
I hope our council people have better things to do than play politics on their time, right? We elected them to lead and, make decisions instead of trying to, sling mud at each other.
Yeah, I mean, listen, a certain amount of mudslinging goes with the territory.
Hudson County.
Politics is blood sport. It shouldn't be. It should be about policy. So I'm not impugning any individual council person. And there are people that are with the Bala camp that are his political retainers that on a personal level I like very much. But it's still no excuse for just trying to muddy up Bala's enemy instead of doing the work that our city needs to get done.
Right. We should expect better from our leadership, right?
No, couldn't agree with you more.
Great. Thank you. We'll be right back.
Growing up, my parents owned a bar and restaurant, creating jobs, opportunity, a sense of community. Their example inspired me to open my own business. I'm Jack Chettarelli. Phil Murphy's lockdowns killed businesses like this. Gone are our favorite pizza places, our salons, the corner bakery. Gone are the jobs they provided, and the people who work there. Wall Street guys like Murphy just don't get it. When these businesses close, it hurts all of us. New Jersey, we can do better. When I'm governor, we will.
Welcome back to the Pulse with Peter B. Peter Biancamano back in the host chair, and we've moved the show outside. And why not come to beautiful Maxwell Place Pier on a gorgeous, gorgeous day. And speaking of beautiful, we have a beautiful sports insider joining us today, and that is, I've never called a man beautiful on the show before, Eric. And that is Mr. Eric Cruz. Eric, how are you today, sir?
I'm doing well. I'm glad you brought it outside. It's a wonderful day out here.
Exactly. Sun is shining. He forgot his sunglasses, but I'm not making fun of him for that. And with the nice weather, of course, that means baseball season is here. And I can't believe we are already over a month into the Major League Baseball season. Still like 5 months to go, but who's counting? I mean, and, you know, why don't we start out talking about the local teams? And, of course, we always make fun of the New York Mets for being the second-tier team to the New York Yankees. I personally don't think so, but others do. But as of right now, as we're sitting on this pier today, it looks like their records are very, very similar. So, I mean, I guess Met fans have something to hope for.
Yeah, absolutely they do.
Exactly. But speaking of those New York Yankees at first, they started off the season extremely slow. They were under 500 last place, and, of course, the Yankee haters were out. But they are slowly turning it around within the last few weeks.
Yeah. Well, I think a part of their slow start was just putting a lot of pressure on themselves. They came into the season pretty healthy. They had high expectations. They fell into good pitching. You know, they've played against some, you know, decent teams. A lot of the AL East teams that are actually right in the mix in the AL for first place. So they faced some good teams. They've taken their best punches, but you know, I feel like for them it's a confidence thing. You know, once they start getting their confidence together, once really getting that role of the lineup, what they're going to do and what they expect from them, throughout that lineup. I think once they get on that roll, I think they're going to break out of it. They're too good of a team to be struggling, sitting right around 500. I believe once the big bats, Giancarlo, Aaron Judge, once those guys start going, this team's going to take off. Again, they've gotten really good pitching. They've got some acquisitions this year in Kluber and Taillon. Two guys that, were kind of like 50-50, and they've come out and they've pitched very well so far. So I think the Yankees' struggles are minor right now. And as soon as the season gets warmer and the games start getting going more consistently, I think the Yankees will be fine.
Exactly. We're all looking for warmer weather because we are wearing sweaters at the pier right now, but different story for a different time. But what's amazing in the American League East is the start that the Boston Red Sox have had. I mean, currently, as we're sitting here, they are in first place. I mean, do you think that it's going to be a battle between the Yankees and the Red Sox for the top spot in that division?
Well, I think it's
like the good old days. Sorry.
Yeah, well, yeah, absolutely. And then, of course, Tampa Bay. They've got a great young team, and honestly, if you look at the past month of the season, the Yankees have struggled with Tampa, and so have a lot of other teams. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. Boston always being back in the mix is always a good thing for baseball in general.
I agree.
And I'm looking forward to it. I mean, again, it's April. All three teams are still trying to figure it out, but it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be it's going to be set up for a nice playoff push come the end of the season.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. It is way too early. Some people say that you can't really take any baseball standing serious until the All-Star break, which is like July. Right. I mean, would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. This is the beginning of the year. Spring training, again, coming off of the pandemic as well. Things have just been out of whack. It's kind of feeling back to normal. Every day, there's baseball. Spring training was completed, without any issue. And again, this is like every other year, pretty much. It's April, May, June, July. Again, like you said just now, by the All-Star break, you already know who you are. So we got a couple months to get there, and we're going to figure it out. We're going to see if they're ready to go.
Exactly. Well, let's talk about the other New York team, and it always excites me to talk about those Metropolitans because they're the working man's team, I feel like. You got all those bougie Yankee fans. That's right. I'm calling you out, but, you go over to Citi Field, which is way better than Yankee Stadium. I think Eric would agree with that.
No comment.
No comment. I feel like Yankee Stadium's a mausoleum, but different story for a different time. And you have the New York Mets, a near passionate fan base. I mean, you want to talk about inconsistent, though. I mean, first of all, why don't we talk about Jacob deGrom? I mean, Jacob deGrom is most likely on his way to win yet another Cy Young award, his third in a row. Why can't they hit for him?
I try to come up with this solution. This is like, year 3 or 4 now in a row where it's this same problem with him, for him, I guess. I just don't understand it. I guess, the only thing that makes logical sense to me is that other pitchers bring their A game when it's time to go up against deGrom because they know that if they give up more than 1 or 2 runs, they're not going to win the game.
Exactly.
So, I have no explanation, really.
So it's kind of like a bullseye on his back, right?
It's kind of weird. He's right now, he's the GOAT of pitching, right? We can't, there's no other way around it. The guy is just phenomenal. He's just setting the bar so high for pitchers. And he's just, the fact that they can't score runs for him, I don't understand it. But maybe this team, when they come along, down the road, can change that around for him. But it's amazing to watch him pitch. It's great to see him go out there every night and just dominate.
Right.
It's almost unreal, to be honest. It's incredible.
Phenomenal. So hopefully they start hitting for him and he can get those win totals.
Yeah, it would be. For the last, I would say, let me just speak for the last 2 or 3 years, he's been able to win. At least with the way he's performing, at least 20 games a year.
It's amazing, isn't it?
And he doesn't even peak, I think, 15. So I don't know. It doesn't make sense. So hopefully he does get it going. I would love to see him get those wins.
Well, no, without a doubt. Now let's talk about one of the more wealthier New York Mets these days, and that's Francisco Lindor, who received that huge contract, 10 years, over $300 million. But I think he's batting less than 200 right now. So far, huge disappointment for the Mets, correct?
Absolutely, and it's just, and it goes into that, like what we mentioned in the beginning, it's just that New York pride. It's that we expect so much from him right away, and it's an adjustment period for him. He played in the American League his whole career, and as silly as it sounds, hey, how can he go from American to national and still be that consistent and not be a consistent guy? it's really it's just about how he's able to, you know, go out there and handle it. Once he's able to handle New York and once he's able to get his routine down, I think he's going to be just fine. You know, and as far as the inconsistency is concerned, again, it's still early. Pitchers are trying to get him out. They're trying to pitch him tough. He still has a long way to go. I think just like with the Yankees, I think he's gonna take off. He's gonna take off.
So now, you know, I want to go back to the inconsistencies, and I want to talk a little bit about Mets manager Luis Rojas. I mean, because you and I were talking before the segment about him moving people up and down the lineup. I believe earlier this week, middle of the week, he moved Lindor up to like the third or fourth spot.
Right.
When Lindor's having all of these struggles. Therefore, I mean, should some of the blame of their inconsistent start be on Luis Rojas?
Well, yeah, I absolutely agree with that because it starts from the bottom. From the top to the bottom.
Right.
And I mean the bottom as far as where it's players and all that stuff, as staffing is concerned. But for me, it's, you know, when you have an inconsistent lineup, you really don't. You're really not setting the bar on where you want these hitters. Or what do you want? What do you expect from them in the lineup? You know, and again, you had Lindor go from number 2 to 3 to leadoff. You know, I think they had a nice thing going with Brandon Nimmo. Averages a little bit in the mid 250s, but his on-base percentage is pretty well. I think it's 348.
I love his hustle, by the way.
And he's one of those type blue-collar ball players that you love at the top of the lineup.
Right.
And I just think if Luis Rojas finds a consistency, if he just trusts his lineup a little bit more, I think, and I mean trust. I think they want Michael Conforto to be that number 3, number 4 hitter consistently. But again, you know, he struggles here and there, and then all of a sudden he's on the bottom half
in a
of the
contract
lineup.
year, I might add.
In a contract
right.
year, and
right.
it messes with the guy's mentality. You know, it's you know, you want to be the power guy, you want to be the guy that drives the guys in, but they don't trust me enough to get through my struggles, where they'll drop me to the bottom of the lineup, and then. And again, that goes again from the top to the bottom in management. You know, I believe that they pulled the trigger kind of quickly on the hitting coach, Chili Davis.
Right. Right.
I believe that they should have just given him a little bit more time to figure it out. I just think this lineup is just a little bit more trust and consistency away from, again, taking off. I think J.D. Davis, I believe he got hurt in the beginning of the road trip, but
right.
he'll be back real soon, relatively soon. With his production and the way with Pete Alonso, I think the Mets are just a little bit more trust and consistency away from really taking off.
You said it earlier, Yankees probably going to be top of the division. Will the New York Mets be a playoff team?
I think the New York I think the New York teams are going to be battling. I think it's going to be a 3-way battle between both NL and the American League East, because Philadelphia, I mean, they're in it to win it. They got these big signings too. They fixed their bullpen up. They're coming to win the division. The Atlanta Braves are young. They want to win. So it's going to be fun. It's so early in the year, and they've given us so much to talk about that I can only imagine what it's going to be when it's dog days of summer, coming down the wire. It's like, that's the best. It's the best. It's the best time.
Well, Everett Cruz, our sports insider, good to see you again.
I appreciate
Whether
it.
out here or in studio,
Yes.
we'll have you back anytime you want, buddy.
I appreciate that.
All right.
It's always fun being here.
Thank you again. Folks, today's show was brought to you by The Dream Project. You can find out more information from our friends at The Dream Project at the link at the bottom of your screen. I'm Peter Biancamano. Join us next week for The Pulse on everything you need to know. Have a great week, everybody.
The Pulse with Peter B. is a proud partner of Eyes on NJ.
Growing up, my parents owned a bar and restaurant. Their example inspired me to open my own business. I'm Jack Chettarelli. Phil Murphy's lockdowns killed businesses like this. Wall Street guys like Murphy just don't get it. When these businesses close, it hurts all of us.